What if everything you think you know about the mark of the beast is wrong? What if the real threat isn't a chip, a code, or some kind of technology, but something far more subtle and dangerous? Most people are waiting for a visible sign, when in reality, the mark is already being engraved, not on the skin, but on the soul. This is the hidden truth that few dare to speak. But in this video, you're going to discover what's really behind it all and what comes next. It's uncomfortable, but it's real. The mark of the beast won't be imposed overnight. It will be gradually accepted by hearts already conditioned, by minds already dominated by a system cloaked in promises of peace, security, and freedom. You'll come to understand that the true battlefield is spiritual, and many are already losing this war without even realizing it. Ignoring this is a risk you simply can't afford anymore. In this video, we'll explore step by step what the Bible reveals. No filters, no sugarcoating. The hidden truth about this prophecy will shock you, but it will also open your eyes. We're going to expose the enemy's invisible strategies and reveal what God has prepared for those who choose to resist. But don't expect to hear what you've already heard out there. What's about to be revealed could radically shift your understanding and your destiny. If you're seeking real answers, spiritual insight, and a deeper understanding of what's coming, this video is for you. Share it with someone who needs to wake up, and subscribe to the channel now, because what comes after this revelation will prepare you for everything that's yet to unfold. Many still believe that the so-called mark of the beast will simply be an implanted chip or a barcode hidden somewhere on the body. But what if I told you that this mark begins long before it becomes visible? It is, above all, spiritual. The Bible points to two specific places, the hand and the forehead. And these symbols reveal much more than people realize. The forehead represents our mind, what we think, believe, and where our focus lies. The hand, on the other hand, represents our actions, what we do with what we believe. Imagine someone who has already accepted the world system's ideologies in their mind and acts in obedience to it with their hands. That's already an invisible but deeply real mark. Revelation is a book of spiritual codes, not just literal images. Many read it superficially, waiting to see a visible seal or some spectacular sign, but they ignore that loyalty to the world system already defines whose side you're on. The mark is about who reigns in your heart, God or the enemy. It's not just about external control, it's about internal worship. And here's the part almost no one talks about. The enemy has never been interested in just manipulation. He's always craved worship. From Eden to the temptation of Jesus in the wilderness, his goal has always been the same: to steal what rightfully belongs to the Creator. When someone lives in constant rebellion against the principles of the kingdom, even if they go to church or read the Bible, they're already carrying signs of this mark. And that's frightening, because it's subtle. It goes unnoticed. A practical example: think of someone who always says, "I belong to God," but makes decisions based on fear, ambition, or the need for human approval. That reveals who truly governs that person. The mark won't be forced in a single moment. It's the accumulation of choices. And speaking of choices, it's becoming impossible not to notice that something massive is already moving around us. And it goes far beyond chips or theories. Most people still believe the beast system is something that will only appear in the distant future, like a dramatic event. But the truth is, the structure is already here. And the scariest part is that it's being welcomed with open arms. Global digitization, centralized digital currencies, and emotional surveillance through social media are weaving an invisible web. It's as if we're walking into a prison, beautifully decorated with comfort, convenience, and speed. Those who are paying attention have already realized we're living in one massive behavioral experiment. Look at how everything today revolves around convenience. You no longer need to leave home to shop, work, or even socialize. And at first glance, this seems like progress. But behind all this ease, there's a quiet demand: surrender. To be part of the system, you have to accept its rules, even when they contradict your values. The beast, this antichrist system, disguises itself as a solution, but demands your soul in exchange. And very few notice, because it all happens gradually, sweetly, like a perfectly set trap. Imagine someone who refuses to play along, who chooses to hold on to their freedom, faith, and values. That person will quickly be labeled weird, backward, or even dangerous. And that's when the system shows its claws. It does not tolerate resistance. Anything that doesn't conform must be corrected or erased. And this silent pressure is growing. People are being trained to give up discernment in exchange for social acceptance, status, or a false sense of security. Want an example? Just watch how public opinion can be shaped with a few clicks. A topic emerges, spreads, becomes absolute truth, and anyone who questions it is cancelled. This isn't just culture, it's control. And the worst part? Most accept it as normal. But none of this is accidental. The preparation for the mark doesn't begin with a law. It begins with a subtle shift in mindset. Perhaps the darkest and most silent part of this reality is that millions are already marked, and they don't even realize it. That's because the mark, before being physical, is the result of an inward surrender. Worshipping the image of the beast doesn't necessarily mean bowing before a statue, but rather submitting to distorted ideologies, ego worship, and a system that exalts man above God. Today, entertainment, social media, and even certain modern philosophies are playing that role masterfully. They seduce, mold, and seal. When a person becomes a slave to the opinions of others, obsessed with fame or digital validation, they've already begun carrying a mark. And we're not talking about something abstract. It's visible in behaviors, priorities, and daily decisions. The system no longer needs brute force. It uses influence. A clear example: popular songs that glorify lust, rebellion, and vanity, consumed even by those who claim to be Christians. That's not just entertainment, it's disguised worship. The true mark begins in the heart, when spiritual loyalty is broken, when truth is relativized, when the sacred is treated with indifference. A person may attend church, but if their heart already belongs to another Lord, they've made their choice. It's like spiritual adultery, aligning with the world while claiming to love God. And that's the great deception, because everything feels normal, acceptable, modern. And that's exactly why it's so dangerous. There's an old saying: the worst prison is the one where the prisoner believes they're free. And that's exactly what's happening. Hearts are captive, minds already shaped, yet everyone thinks they're just keeping up with the times. But what's coming next will require more than awareness. It will require resistance. And resistance is going to come at a cost. The Bible doesn't sugarcoat it. Those who refuse to bow to the system will indeed be excluded. The verse, "No one can buy or sell unless he has the mark," Revelation 13:17, is more than a prophecy. It's a warning. In a world where everything is becoming digitized, this reality is getting closer every day. Can you imagine living in a system where your faith could prevent you from accessing basic resources like food, housing, or even your bank account. It sounds extreme until it doesn't anymore. But here comes the most powerful part. Those who resist will be sealed, not with the world's symbol, but with the seal of God. It's an invisible seal, but one with eternal implications. It's not a physical stamp, but a mark of identity, protection, and covenant with the Most High. God takes care of His own. And even if persecution, scarcity, or isolation comes, there will be supernatural provision. Just as He fed Elijah with ravens in the wilderness, He will also sustain those who choose faithfulness, even in extreme times. Of course, resistance won't be comfortable. It will involve sacrifice, social loss, even public humiliation. But it will be a resistance filled with purpose, a purpose that transcends this life. It's like a divine sifting. Those who remain faithful are being prepared for something much greater. And this isn't just for super believers. It's for anyone who decides deep down not to compromise their faith for fame, safety, or even food. If you felt like something's wrong with the way the world is heading, if you feel called to swim against the current, don't ignore that feeling. It could be the first sign of God's seal on your life. Because when the mark of the beast becomes visible, the sealed ones will have already been identified, not by the world, but by heaven. And the next step in this story will make the division even clearer between those who belong to the Lamb and those who've surrendered to the system. What many ignore is that the mark of the beast isn't just a symbol of allegiance, it's an eternal divider. Revelation makes it clear: those who receive the mark will reap condemnation. This isn't conspiracy theory, it's revealed prophecy. After the mark comes judgment, and that judgment is unavoidable. It's not God being cruel, but just. When someone consciously chooses to reject the truth and follow the system of the beast, they are choosing their own destiny. Free will remains until the end, but so do the consequences. But here comes a liberating truth. For every soul that refuses the mark, a harvest awaits. A harvest prepared by the Lamb. This isn't just salvation, it's reward. The Bible speaks of those who follow the Lamb wherever He goes. They will be gathered with honor, received as warriors who've won the battle of loyalty. It's as if every renunciation in this life becomes a seed sown for eternity. Nothing goes unnoticed. Not even the quietest tear escapes God's record. So the mark isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of the prophetic finale. After it, events will accelerate. Judgments will be released, but so will miracles. Tribulations will grow, but so will God's move. Those who remain firm will witness experiences the world will never understand. Imagine being led by dreams, protected in chaos, provided for during crisis, not by human systems, but by the very hand of God. This isn't fantasy. This is biblical promise. And if it seems hard to resist now, imagine how it will be when everything is out in the open, when choosing between faithfulness and survival becomes a daily reality. That's why preparation starts today, with small choices. And even if the world closes its doors to those who reject the mark, heaven will open wide to receive them. Because what's coming will demand spiritually awakened eyes. It's astonishing how the signs are getting louder and clearer, almost screaming in our eyes and ears. Moral inversion, spiritual apathy, worship of the body, and a mind disconnected from the Creator. All of it has become normal. And the scariest part is that even with everything so obvious, most people choose not to see. It's as if the world is under hypnosis, distracted by lights and empty promises. Meanwhile, the spirit of the Antichrist is already at work, influencing governments, cultures, and even popular spirituality. What used to be scandalous is now entertainment. What was once sin is now lifestyle. We're living in a time where defending what is holy gets you attacked, and what is profane gets a round of applause. The Antichrist has not yet fully revealed himself, but his spirit is operating at full strength. He's not hiding, he's disguised. He's in the music that promotes rebellion, the shows that glorify adultery, the ideologies that mock God's design. All of it masked as progress, as freedom. And perhaps the loudest sign of all is indifference. The silence of the majority in the face of truth is by itself one of the greatest signs of the end. Few want to hear it, even fewer want to change. Many can feel something is wrong, but prefer not to deal with it. Leave it as it is, they say. But that mindset could cost everything. It's like being on a sinking ship and deciding to keep dancing on the deck just because the music's still playing. But when the water rises, there won't be time to wake up. If something inside you has started stirring, as if something is screaming for awakening, listen to it. Don't ignore it. It may be the Spirit of God trying to pull you out of the deep sleep the world has fallen into. And that awakening is urgent, because the time to decide isn't when the signs are even clearer. It's now. The next steps in this story will require a much firmer stand, and that stand can't be delayed. Now that you know the hidden truth about the mark of the beast, you have to decide what to do with this knowledge. Will you ignore it and go on as if nothing is happening, or will you take a stand, even if it costs you comfort, acceptance, or security? The mark is being formed in the small daily compromises. And the most important question you must ask yourself is, who am I really aligned with? This battle isn't about technology, it's about loyalty. It's not about what you'll wear on your skin, but what's already engraved in your heart. Have you noticed how the world is becoming more and more distant from God, more and more surrendered to chaos? And are you being shaped by this system, or are you willing to swim against the current? Are you ready to live with courage, even if it means losing a few things? If this video stirred something inside you, leave a comment below saying, "I choose to be sealed by God." Share it with someone you love. Maybe this is exactly what they need to hear right now. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell, because in the coming weeks, we're going even deeper into revelations that could transform your spiritual life. And remember, the time to decide isn't someday.